People walking in that might be coming here for if they're a victim or something of a crime.
I've heard the whole song and dance before, man.
One thing I will tell you, boss, is I don't want you recording inside the lobby.
Dude, I'm tired of the what ifs, man. I'm going in the lobby. Somebody goes in there. You want to bring them in a private area? If you have a problem with that, arrest me.
Tell me your first name at least.
Not at all.
Okay.
I mean, I do have a badge here for ignorance, but you haven't been.
Right here.
What happens when National Grid employees call the police on a man with a camera while they're recording him too? In Brockton, Massachusetts, hypocrisy gets exposed and the law gets taught. One officer shows up thinking he's in charge, but quickly learns who really knows the law. This is a First Amendment audit you don't want to miss.
Cam back. This makes them feel a little bit more comfortable in the sense of me recording them.
To the alternate.
4-3 to
Ma'am, 1 Filipino is going to 35 to the post. I'll be active though. Any calls come up on our sector?
Here we go.
Can I ask what you're doing?
Sorry?
Can I ask what you're doing?
It's pretty self-evident, no? Can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Why are you taking photographs in here?
Why am I taking photographs? Because I can, that's why.
No, you can't.
Why can't I?
You call 911 and you can answer that.
Okay, yeah. Hey, guess what? I'll school them just like you're getting schooled right now. Snowflake. Oh no, please don't. What a joke.
Falcon to 872. Got a telephone alarm. Living room motion.
10-4.
He's on the phone with the police, and she's doing a cam back of me. He says I can't take photos from a public sidewalk. Hey, should I make a call to them too? Because she was recording me. No? What hypocrites. Seriously. She's taking photos and pictures and videos of me from on the property, which I'm sure is probably against their policy. And then they turn around and call the police on me for doing the same thing. Hypocrisy is real. What a snowflake. I didn't know they existed in May. Get back to work, will ya? Hey, buddy, I'm gonna tell them to screw just like you, okay?
Alright, can you start making your way to the National Grid at 162 Mulberry Street? Got an employee stating that a male wearing a black hoodie, blue pants, with a camera taking videos, refusing to leave.
162 Mulberry Street.
Refusing to leave what?
Brockton to 826.
A public sidewalk?
Good. You can back up MC1 at 162 Mulberry. Male party refusing to leave. Videotaping.
Two units for a camera on the sidewalk. They probably said I was on the property, which obviously I'm not. So we'll wait for Brockton PD to come. This may or may not be exciting. We'll see when they get here. Looks like we have a bike cop here. Brockton PD. What?
How you doing today?
Good, you? You're on the wrong side of the road, man. What are you doing?
Talking to you.
Oh, what are you have no lights on. At least put your lights on.
How come you're out here videotaping?
I don't answer questions, buddy. What's your name and badge number?
How come you're out here videotaping?
It's none of your f***ing business. What's your name and badge number? Maybe name, please?
What's your name?
It's right here, actually.
Well, you had it covered up by your camera.
Oh, yeah, you like that? It's a ignorant piece of shit like you. Why don't you give me a name and badge number? It's state law.
Officer of Dillon, Brockton Police, ID 400.
How do you spell that?
How come you're out here?
Oh, yeah. Am I detained, sir?
Not at all.
Oh.
You can walk away.
You can f off, too.
You walk away if you'd like.
Nope, I'll stay right where I am, thank you. You don't give me orders, buddy.
Do you know what an order is?
I do, it's unlawful to tell me to keep
No,
walking
that's
on a
if
public
I'm
road.
telling you something, right?
Yeah,
But
you're telling
said
me to
that
keep-
You're gonna go. That's what you said.
Okay. It's an unlawful order and you're not going to give them to me.
He's actually on a public road.
Oh, no shit. Is that what dispatch told you or the calling party? Why don't you go talk to the calling party and let them know that?
I'm going to.
Dispatch too. Bye, buddy. Make sure you let him know, all right? Here's your blinker. School's in session, boys. Listen up. Go back to work. Hey, keep scratching your head, Snowflake. Hey, they took a picture of me. Can you arrest them, please? Dismiss, fellas. Get back to work.
I'm in the gated area. When I have to open the gate. Stand by.
He's trapped.
Me too.
I head to the wash, that's okay?
Shut up.
He's trapped like a cage animal. Look at him. Keep him locked in like a caged animal. Let him know how it feels. Hey, can I get your name and badge number, please? No? Breaking us. 2 officers for a camera. Meanwhile, your employees are taking pictures of me on property. Huh. How ironic. Nice circle jerk. They called the cops because I have a camera on public property. Taking pictures. What do you mean, why? I don't know. They ask the same questions. I don't really answer those questions, man. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just a private journalist, you know? That's all. Yeah.
Banana Bronco. Is it alright to hit that for fuel?
Oh, look at that. It says no trespassing right in front of me. Oh, wow. I didn't know. Peace. Dismiss Brockton PD. Drive a shame. Wasn't too bad, but he thought he was gonna figure out why I was here, and I think he knows now.
You don't have a boat unit 10544.
See?
What a waste of resources, huh? I'm still here. Hey, circle jerks over. Get back to work. Walk of shame. All right, everyone. So that's going to be it over here today.
This audit reminds us, public photography is not a crime, and asking questions is not an obligation. When cops show up, you're not required to explain yourself. Know your rights, exercise them peacefully, and never let intimidation silence your camera or your voice. In Landenberg, Pennsylvania, a First Amendment audit at a regional police department begins with respect but quickly turns tense when a corporal tries to restrict filming in a public lobby. What starts as education turns into confrontation. When feelings clash with constitutional rights, which one wins? Watch how this auditor stands firm and flips the narrative lawfully.
What's up, man? Blocking traffic, dude.
Blocking traffic.
Yeah. You should probably get out of the way. Yeah. Well, at least he listened. He's probably getting off duty right now. Good, you?
Man,
I don't know.
did you need anything?
No, you call me buddy. Why do you think? I'm not your
It's
buddy,
kind of
man.
a universal thing. I just call people buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too sometimes. Yeah.
Did you need anything?
Not as of yet, no.
Okay.
No.
If front office opens officially
Yep.
at 8.
Okay.
but the lobby's open.
Okay.
Hop in there and there's
Well, like records and stuff, they open, what time they open? 8?
for records.
Yeah.
Depends what you're looking for.
Well, I mean, records in general. I mean,
Records in general, if you need anything that applies to you, or if you're an attorney, you can go through the Right to Know Act. The form is online.
yeah, okay.
So
Well, I could put in a records request here too, right?
you, I believe
If they're available, obviously, if they're like open to the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything that's public record.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can already Google probably and find.
Well, not for what I look for.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. If there's anything, actually, that young lady that just walked past,
Yeah.
Heather Campbell,
Okay.
seated right up front.
Okay.
If you need anything,
Awesome.
Anything she can help you, wish you well. Okay?
I appreciate it. You got a name, badge up?
Local Italian.
Yeah. You don't mind me recording over here, do you? I mean, obviously, I see it's restricted. I'm not going to go past it, but I mean, I show the same respect to you guys as you show me. So
You got. Yeah. You have a right. You have a right to record. The only thing I'd ask is if any body is walking into the station, please don't record them.
Oh, come on.
Or a victim, just to
Yeah, but they, there's private areas in there. You know what I mean? You got to put them in, and there's no expectation of privacy in public.
No, I understand that, but I mean, people walking in that might be coming here for if they're a victim or something of a crime.
I've heard the whole song and dance before, man. It's all public property. If somebody comes in and they're here to report a crime or anything in general like that, then you have to put them into a,
No, but I mean, just put yourself in this position though. Say you're coming here to report a crime, and maybe it might be of sensitive nature.
Yeah.
And maybe you just kind of.
But you have interview rooms, right?
I'm sorry.
You have interview rooms?
Once they're inside, they're protected. But
No, they're not. From what? My camera?
No, I mean once they're inside, I mean then there's private areas in there where they can have discussion.
And that's what I'm saying. But you got to understand, right? So we have a right to film in public, okay?
Absolutely.
In a public space, there's no expectation of privacy in public. I get where you're coming from. I've heard this before. I really have.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to get anybody's personal information. I don't want to hear about their, anything that's happened to them that they may be sensitive information. But that's where you come in and you take them into a private area and do whatever you need to in a private area. What I'm saying though is that, we have absolutely no rights. You know what I mean? If we stop right there, that's it.
Good way to look at it.
It really is, man. And I get where you're coming from, and like I said, I'm here to educate you just like, I learned something from you and vice versa. But I've seen that before where a victim or something has come into a lobby and they try to direct me out of there. And that's not where that happens. What you're supposed to really do in that situation is get them and bring them into a private area because there is no expectation of privacy in public. And it's actually good for them to know that too.
Sure, I understand that.
So, I mean, that's all I'd ask. If there is anybody coming in and you see me and they're recording, just kind of let them know that, hey, look, you're being video recorded in here by somebody who's exercising their rights.
Okay.
And then...
One thing I will tell you, boss, is I don't want you recording inside the lobby.
What?
I don't want you recording inside our lobby for that reason.
Really? It's a public area, dude. You can't direct. That's an unlawful order.
Once people are in there, they could be in there to discuss.
It's an unlawful order. It's an unlawful order. Look, you started off great. Let's not turn that sideways, man. Seriously, because I'm going in the lobby, and if the people are in there now, I'm going to definitely record.
Okay.
And I'm going to challenge that.
Okay.
And if you want to arrest me for trespassing and disorderly conduct or whatever bullshit charge you want to put on me, you can go that route. See, now my demeanor has changed.
I don't understand why, though.
Because you're telling me that. So if I go in there and there's somebody in there filing a report.
I feel rude. I'm talking to you.
That's fine.
I feel rude talking to you through the gate. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I shouldn't have been doing that in the first place.
So if somebody's in there recording, I've already explained myself, okay, and the rights and the laws of public accessible areas and recording.
Yes, sir.
You need to understand that the feelings are not going to get involved in my rights.
Okay.
Okay, as long as I'm not breaking the law, you can't trespass me out of this building just because somebody's in there reporting a crime in a public lobby.
Well, let me ask you this, and this would be my only concern. Okay, we all have family, and I don't mean for you to think I'm getting off on the wrong foot, but you got to understand.
You started to.
Okay, I apologize. If you had come in to report a crime and say it was a very sensitive nature,
yeah, bring them into an
I understand.
That's
that,
it.
But you got
no, that's it. That's
station,
it. You're bringing emotions and feelings involved in my rights, and that's not going to happen today.
Okay.
It's not going to happen. Okay. If you have sensitive information, you need to tell those people to go into a sensitive area, okay, that you're willing to bring them out back into a private area, in interrogation room or whatever you need to, and do your report in a private area. There's no expectation of privacy in public. I get where you're coming from, but that's not going to stop me from filming in a public lobby. You can't do that. Okay. You know what I mean? And that's where you're ending this off on a wrong foot.
Well, hang on a second. Let me explain. Let me explain our lobby.
The cop's explaining, man. I don't want to hear it, dude.
No. I said,
look, I think
that's architectural. That has nothing to do with cop talk. This is architectural.
Look, I know where we're at, and it's just going to end here. That's it.
Hold on a second. I'm just letting you know when you walk into our lobby right here. Say your complaint.
Do you talk about hypotheticals, man? If you lived off of hypotheticals every single day on your job, it's very dangerous.
No, I know.
Okay. Somebody's walking down the street. He must be armed, and then you pull him over and you detain him for absolutely nothing because it's suspicious. Okay, suspicion's not even a crime either. It's all hypotheticals, man. I don't want to hear the hypotheticals. If, ands, what's, if, ands. I don't want to hear it. It's irrelevant.
Let me put it this way. This is not an
if this happens, if that happens.
Our room is, in fact, right in the lobby. So if you come into the police station, our soft interview where someone might want to sit and speak about something.
Is there a door?
Yes.
then
but-
you close that door.
But you're recording them going in and out of it.
What does that matter? I'm not going to record the conversation.
I
And
understand that, but how's that fair to a person that could potentially be here reporting something that might be?
how is it
sensitive
fair to
in nature
me,
them?
right? How is it fair to me to stop what I'm doing and exercise my rights because somebody's feelings and emotions are involved?
What if
Think
was
about
your-
it.
What if it was your family member?
What if? If.
I mean,
Right? What if?
I find
Dude,
it-
I'm tired of the what ifs, man. I'm going in the lobby. Somebody goes in there. You want to bring them in a private area. If you have a problem with that, arrest me. I'm done. I'm done with this conversation. I've already explained myself. I don't want to hear anymore. You already know where I'm coming from. I think we're somewhat on the same page. You know, and like I said,
like I said, I don't have a problem with what you're doing. All I'd ask is.
so, but you're saying you're going to have a problem if I go in there and I record somebody going in there to report a crime. That's what you're telling me. That's where the problem is going to exist, right?
I would just ask that you be respectful.
You're going to ask.
That you be respectful, yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, I already...
I asked that of everybody.
But I already told you I'm not going to go in there and try to get sensitive information. But that's on you to tell them that that could be recorded because somebody is in there recording, which they have every right to do. If you want to come into a private area and talk about your crime or a victim or whatever you have to... That's on you. You have to inform them of that. Do you understand what I'm saying? If they don't know, then, you know, that's up to you to educate people on their rights also. You know, you're supposed to protect those, man. And that's all I'm asking.
By protect somebody, you mean if a victim comes in, potentially protect them from their identity being
From
disclosed?
exactly.
How am I going to do that if you're in there?
Because you tell them if you want to, if you have any sensitive information, you know, name, date of birth, social, all that stuff. Because you got to remember, there's no expectation of privacy in public. You can't expect to have private information, you know, protected in a public area. You have to create that privacy on your own. That's where you come in to protect that information. Okay. And if you don't do that, then you're not really helping the situation at that point. Okay. All you're doing is telling me, look, you need to get out of here, you can't record. When you should really just be telling them the opposite. Look, come into this room, he won't be able to get any information, you know, so forth, so on, and then you just go from there. You know, there's an easier way and then there's a hard way. And the easier way is literally telling that victim or person to come into a private area where I cannot record their information. It's very simple.
Okay.
Because it is a public lobby.
Okay. I'm going to explain something to you. It's very simple, too.
Okay.
Be respectful on this property, and we're not going to have any problems.
Respectful? As in
Be
what?
Respectful. Treat people like you'd want to be treated. That's all I ask, okay?
I do the same right to you, man. You know, we started off the conversation on the right foot,
I
and
right. We still are on the right foot.
We'll see. We'll see when I leave. Because if I leave here in cuffs or stay here in cuffs, it might be an issue, a bigger issue.
Brother, I'm going to tell you
depending on if I break the law.
I have a book about this thick,
okay,
that tells me the things I can and can't do to put you in cuffs. If you do any of them, that's the only thing that's going to put you in cuffs. But that's going to
I get it. Look, I'm not here to break the law, man. You know what I mean?
You don't seem like you are.
I'm not. I mean, how am I supposed to hold you accountable, right, if I'm not holding myself accountable to the same laws?
I like that. Like I said, treat people like you want to be treated, right?
Yeah, I got you.
I don't know if you're going to tell me, but you want to tell me your first name at least?
Not at all.
Okay.
I mean, I do have a badge here for ignorance, but you haven't been...
Right here? No,
yeah.
It's to see that. That's not really...
No, I'm not going to give my information out, man. I knew that was coming too, man.
No, I just think... I mean...
You got look, you got to play by a book. I get it.
Just... No.
I don't play the same rules, man.
Wasn't asking for your date of birth. Wasn't asking for any ID.
I know.
Just asking if you wanted to tell me your first name.
No, and then you're going to run me through a system, look for me for warrants, and see who I am and what I'm doing. And
for your first name?
Of course you are. Of course you are, man.
Dude,
you guys all do that.
Joe. If you run Joe through the system, you'd be here all day.
No, you're a public servant. I could pull your records all day long.
Yeah, I know,
you know?
that. But
I have private
I'm
information.
just asking your first name, just so I know what to call you if you're out and about.
Nah, you can call me good citizen, man.
Copy that.
All right.
All right, man.
Have a good one. Oof. That started off pretty good, and then went a little south with the private information, in which I'm not here to get, you know, but like I told him that he's supposed to protect that information, especially when there's victims of, you know, any kind of assault or, you know, domestic or something of that sensitive nature. But that's up to him, and I need to explain that to him is pretty concerning, and I only say that because he should already know that, you know. Feelings are not going to get involved in me exercising my rights. So we'll go take a look at the other side over here, and then we'll go inside the lobby. Hey, you got a business card? You do? Awesome, man.
You can also get all of our information online.
No, I know. I like to get business cards just in case, you know? Awesome, man. I am gonna do... You'd be surprised, man. A lot of people, they're like, hey, you know, we got a guy out here with the camera, you know, just be aware, kind of putting them on, you know, edge.
County's got better stuff to deal with.
I'm sure. Yeah. All right. Oh, blue liners, eh? Ma'am, whenever you get a sec, I have a question for you. Do you have complaint forms? Please.
You can come hang out at my office
Hang out in your office? You don't just hang out here, do you? You guys aren't just hanging out now, are you?
I'm sorry?
You guys aren't just hanging out, right?
Who?
I don't know. She said you want to hang out in my office. I don't know what that means. Supposed to be working now, not hanging out.
I'm working.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So how does this, I fill it out, goes to a captain or
It goes to the,
sergeant, lieutenant?
it goes to the lieutenant.
Okay. And he looks it over and then goes from there? Okay. You don't have to speak with one in order to fill it out, do you?
No.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of police departments, they say, oh, well, you can't get a complaint form unless you speak with the lieutenant. I mean, I know you gave it to me, but... All right. You guys don't have these in the lobby, or?
No, we don't.
Why not?
It's just not something that we have in the lobby.
I mean, you guys should have like a, you know, like a little, just a whole bunch of complaint forms and, you know, other forms. There's no forms in the lobbies?
No. No form.
Really? It'd be easy if somebody just came in and said, hey, look, I need this, and go on their way.
There's no form.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How's your day?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a good day, okay? All right. Here's your accreditation. Please serve not because they hate what is in front of them, but because they love who stand behind them. Okay. Oh, the blue line, man. Oof. So here's the interview room I was speaking of. They usually have one. This is where they want to bring the people who come in and want to file either complaints or any paperwork and stuff like that. They can go into a private interview room. Is the correct way to fold the American flag. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. That's it, guys, and we're gonna head out. He literally just stops. Good, you?
Good.
They're not too bad here. I've definitely dealt with worse. Joining the powwow over there. Break it up, fellas, break it up. Cam back, cam back. Makes them feel better. Let it. If that's what helps them sleep at night, go ahead. All right.
This audit proves once again your rights don't vanish because someone feels uncomfortable. Public spaces mean public access. If officers truly want to protect victims' privacy, the burden is on them to create it. Know the law, record peacefully, and stand tall because education is power.